Tonight, artillery investment, hundreds of millions in federal funds, expanding local military production.
Canada needs to be prepared for the realities of today's world.
Plus, surgical progress. LHSC officials reporting reduced wait times, alleviating pandemic-era backlogs. And is it time to retire Wiarton Willie?
We hope they'll consider some humane alternatives that doesn't involve taking yet another live groundhog out of their natural environment to be used as a prop.
Animal advocates in their pitch for the tradition's future.
CTV News with Carlisle Fizette.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A local business is getting a major cash injection from the federal government. It's part of a broad investment push in the military sector, with the defense minister on site in Ingersoll today for the announcement. Jerry Dewan has more on the hundreds of millions of dollars provided and what the money will be used for.
Defense Minister David McGuinty toured IMT Precision in Ingersoll before announcing an additional $1.4 billion for the recently created Canadian Defense Industry Resilience Program. Part of that investment will allow IMT Precision to expand operations.
Through this program, IMT Precision will receive up to $306.4 million to build a new facility producing metal shells for 155mm artillery projectiles.
IMT Precision does advanced CNC machining for a number of industries, including the auto sector, aerospace, and defense. Last spring, they cut the ribbon on a 90,000-foot expansion, allowing the company to increase production of shells for the U.S. military. The new facility will increase production for the Canadian military.
Canada needs to be prepared for the realities of today's world. And IMT is ready to do its part to help re-equip the Canadian Armed Forces, our partners in NATO, and other allies with the weapons they need to do their jobs safely and effectively.
McGuinty says the government is ensuring that the Canadian Armed Forces have reliable, timely access to the tools they need to do their jobs.
These are critical components used by our armed forces and our allies, and in high demand globally, including in Ukraine or even including in Latvia, where we have 3,000 forward deployed members of the Canadian Armed Forces, where Canada is commanding a 14-nation multinational brigade.
IMT hasn't identified where the new facility will be located.
Site selection is actually under review. We have not established yet where that will be located, but we expect to have more to say on that in a few weeks.
Hacking says IMT Precision currently has just over 500 employees, and the new facility will bring an additional 300 staffers. The rest of the government's $1.4 billion investment will go to General Dynamics operations in Quebec. In Ingersoll, Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
Oil prices are rising higher as missile attacks rain down on Iran from American and Israeli forces. Heather Wright has the latest on the deepening conflict.
Overnight, Iran retaliated for the killing of its security chief, firing cluster warheads at central Israel, payloads that are harder to intercept as they disperse midair. Israeli officials say the attack killed 2 people and caused damage in multiple areas. Dubai was also attacked overnight and this morning, with alarms going off throughout the city. Officials here say the drones and missiles were all successfully intercepted. Speaking to British lawmakers, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says more than 200 military experts from Ukraine have been sent to the UAE, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, sharing their expertise in fighting a drone war, something Ukraine has pioneered during its 4-year fight with Russia.
We do not want this terror of the Iranian regime against its neighbors to succeed.
The United States and Israel continued their campaign against Iran today. U.S. Central Command says it dropped bunker-busting bombs on Iranian sites near the Strait of Hormuz, while oil sites linked to Iran were reportedly hit by Israel. Iran also confirmed its intelligence minister was killed. The regime has vowed to respond by attacking energy sites in the Gulf, warning people to stay away from facilities in Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar. It's all leading to rising oil prices and uncertainty to how this conflict ends.
It's important to point out that once a war starts, you really can't control the direction it's going to go in.
Retired Major General Dennis Thompson says over the past 2.5 weeks, there has been a steady escalation of this conflict, which he believes has not reached its peak. He says the U.S. could still choose to hit Karg Island, where 90% of Iran's oil exports are shipped from, while Iran could go after desalination plants in the Gulf, cutting off a key source of fresh water.
I'm not convinced that there is a military solution to this, and they have to go the diplomatic route. If you keep killing the Iranian leadership, who are you going to negotiate with?
While Iran has allowed a few ships to pass through the Strait of Hormuz, it effectively remains closed. The UAE has said it is open to joining a U.S.-led effort to reopen the strait, but at this point, there is still no plan in place. Heather Wright, CTV News, Dubai.
Donald Trump's top intelligence officials testified publicly today for the first time since launching their onslaught on Iran. They were asked pointed questions about the claims and reasoning for the war in Iran. With more on the responses, here's Joy Malvin.
Arriving in Dover for a dignified transfer, President Donald Trump honoring 6 service members killed in a refueling air crash as the U.S. military took new action in Iran, dropping multiple 5,000-pound bunker buster bombs targeting Iranian ammunition storage sites. As global oil prices skyrocket, Trump is determined to get the oil flowing through the Strait of Hormuz, with or without support from U.S. allies.
We don't need too much help, and we don't need any help, actually.
The president's top intelligence officials grilled on Capitol Hill over what evidence justified attacking Iran now.
Did you brief the president, if he starts a war of choice, that the likely result would be that Iran would strike adjacent Gulf nations and close the Strait of Hormuz?
I have not and won't divulge internal conversations.
Democrats are clearly frustrated. Asked if the president's strikes on Iran's nuclear sites in June obliterated the nuclear program, why go to war now?
Was it the assessment of the intelligence community that there was a, quote, imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime, yes or no?
Senator, the only person who can determine what is and is not an imminent threat is the president.
False. This is the worldwide. This is
Trump's intelligence director says it's not her job to determine what is an imminent threat to the homeland, as her chief of staff, Joe Kent, just resigned in protest, suggesting President Trump was duped into war, blaming Israel. And with Marines on the way to the Middle East, President Trump has yet to make a decision on sending U.S. forces into Iran to seize the country's remaining nuclear material. Joy Malvin, CTV News, Washington.
Good evening, folks. I'm meteorologist Gary Archibald for CTV News. We are in this polar air mass, cold air, and of course we're seeing snow developing right across the heart of the Great Lakes, moving east. We're still looking at the potential through the overnight of maybe even some freezing rain mixed in with some ice pellets, rain itself, and some light flurries. It's cold now and windy tonight. Look at -3, feeling like about -10 under cloudy conditions. Light snow since 4 p.m. in the vicinities, pushing east. I'll break down the last full day of winter for the season, according to the calendar, which is tomorrow, and a warm-up for the weekend. That's coming up shortly. For now, I'll send it back to the desk.
Thanks very much, Gary. Provincial police say a suspect was arrested today after a carjacking and an hours-long police chase crisscrossing Midwestern Ontario. Scott Miller reports.
A damaged OPP police cruiser and suspected stolen vehicle sit atop the crest of a hill on Baseline south of Auburn this afternoon.
It looks like the 2 vehicles made contact at some point. Thankfully, our officer's not injured, and I understand that the individual that was driving, the suspect, is being checked out at the local hospital as well, and we're waiting to hear what the result was for there.
How the cruiser and red sedan ended up here started earlier in the day in Lambton County, say police. They say a man suspected of uttering threats in Lambton entered Huron County along Highway 21 this morning. As police headed that way, they found the suspect's abandoned minivan and a red sedan speeding from the area. They learned the suspect had allegedly walked into a resident's home near Bayfield and demanded keys to their vehicle, which the homeowner then handed over.
Police then activated more emergency responders to the area, including OPP Aviation. The helicopter started to head our way to assist us in the air. More officers were engaged, and we followed the vehicle safely from a distance through Bayfield, Clinton, Seaforth, and it actually went into Perth County briefly before turning around and coming back into Huron. Officers continued to try to stop the vehicle with spike strips. The suspect avoided those, and we eventually were able to stop it here on Baseline just up the road.
The male suspect was taken into custody at the scene. Solden says multiple charges are pending across many jurisdictions.
I understand that Sarnia Police Service is involved, as well as Chatham-Kent Police Service, and now Huron County will have a long list of charges that will be laid against this individual.
Solden says it was a nerve-wracking situation for the OPP, knowing this suspect was traveling across Huron and Perth County, sometimes at very high rates of speed. But no more nerve-wracking than for the Bayfield area resident who had the suspect allegedly knock on their door, demanding their car keys late this morning.
It would be obviously for the person that was at home and had their home entered by a suspect demanding the keys to their vehicle. I mean, they obviously did the right thing and gave the keys up and let them go. But yeah, that's a terrifying incident for them to experience, and we're thankful that it wasn't worse than that.
Near Auburn, Scott Miller, CTV News.
London police say they arrested one person through a hit-and-run investigation. According to police, they were called early this afternoon about an initial incident on 3rd Street, which led them to Dundas and Hale Street. Police say the driver who fled the scene was arrested and no injuries were reported. London police say 3 people face drug charges after a large amount of cocaine was found during a traffic stop. Police say an officer pulled over a suspected impaired driver early this morning, locating $35,000 worth of coke and cash in the vehicle. Police say they've charged a Woodstock man with several child pornography offenses. According to police, the 31-year-old suspect was arrested last week, and he was scheduled for a bail court appearance earlier today. They also say the suspect was previously convicted for accessing and distributing child porn. A month and a half after welcoming its first residents, London's mayor is touting the micro-modular shelter south of the city as a success so far. With more on the preliminary results from the first few weeks, here's Daryl Newcomb.
An incredible change. We actually visibly see it in folks.
The manager of City Hall's Coordinated Informed Response Team is already witnessing the impact the new micro-modular shelter for homeless Londoners is having on the lives of its 69 residents, as well as some core area neighborhoods. Just 6 weeks since welcoming its first residents, Mayor Josh Morgan is pleased with the preliminary feedback.
The micro-modular shelter is working. People are finding indoor spaces, still certainly people who are outdoors, but a big decline in the numbers of both encampments and people living unsheltered through the winter. One
of the areas of the city that's seen the most benefit is here in Watson Street Park. At this time last year, there were many encampments requiring a lot of municipal support. But today, we could find only a single encampment, and there is no indication anyone had been there for quite some time.
Some of that is the harsh winter we've just experienced, but we have a large number of individuals who were referred to through coordinated access that used to be residing in Watson Street Park that no longer do. I think that number is at 25.
They're getting support from Ontario Works, ODSP, they're getting housing stability support, they're getting medical support, and they're being put on a pathway into housing.
Just 3 people have left the community, 1 for more appropriate medical care and 2 for breaching the rules. There was a small fire earlier this month inside a cabin, but it's being repaired. And the mayor says that the remote location south of the 401 hasn't been an issue thus far.
There were a number of individuals on the first day, almost all of them, who took us up on the transportation option to move to other places in the city. By the end of the first week, just 1 or 2 took us up on that. They realized that there's services there, they're enjoying their time there.
The micro-modular shelter has 10 double occupancy cabins for couples, as well as the ability for people to keep their pets. 9 dogs and 2 cats are currently part of the community and receive regular visits from London Animal Care and Control.
Now we can actually see people leave the situation that they're currently residing in and having hope.
The mayor says it's too early to determine the next steps for the shelter, but if it continues to prove successful, he'd like to see the provincial government partner with the city. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Officials at London Health Sciences Centre are reporting a nearly 20% decrease in surgical wait times. As Lauren Stallone reports, that comes after years of trying to clear pandemic-era backlogs.
London Health Sciences Centre is sharing an update on surgery wait times.
We're doing more surgeries, training more staff, and adding more space, using new funding to reduce wait times for our community.
LHSC says as of February, it has reduced its number of patients waiting for surgeries by 19% compared to pre-pandemic levels.
That improvement didn't happen by accident. It's come from focused work, adding operating room time for priority areas like cancer, brain, spine, and pediatric cases.
LHSC says it has reduced its surgical wait list by increasing surgical capacity.
Since 2023-24, LHSC has added an average of 2,000 operating room hours across our Victoria, Children's, and University hospitals.
Officials say they plan to expand surgical capacity at the Nazem Kadri Surgical Center.
What this does in plain terms is we'll move lower complexity surgeries into a dedicated space. And that frees up space at our main campuses for surgeries that could only be done there, like our complex spine, like our cancer cases.
Hospital Supervisor David Mouche says while LHSC will continue to work to reduce wait times, support from its regional partners is crucial.
Them being able to continue to increase their capacity and work on their wait times helps the whole system and helps LHSC as well get to the more critical cases.
Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
Officials with an international animal rights group are demanding Wiarton Willie's permanent retirement, ending the use of a live groundhog in the annual weather prediction ceremony. With more, here's Scott Miller.
What Willie told me is he did not see the sun, so everybody knows what that means. 1, 2, 3, it's an early spring!
For more than 7 decades, Wiarton Willie has helped break the doldrums of winter by playfully predicting Ontario's winter forecast. But PETA says this year should be the last prediction ceremony in Wiarton using a live groundhog.
With the passing of Willie, the time is now for the town of South Bruce Peninsula to set an example and show respect for all wildlife by ending this cruel tradition.
Following Wiarton Willie's death on March the 10th, PETA says now is the time to transition Wiarton's Groundhog Day prediction ceremony away from the use of a live groundhog towards more ethical options.
We hope they'll consider some humane alternatives, such as 3D holographic projections, an animatronic groundhog, or any other alternative that doesn't involve taking yet another live groundhog out of their natural environment to be used as a prop.
The town of South Bruce Peninsula declined to comment on PETA's most recent recommendation, but shortly following his death, town officials stressed how well Willie was cared for and how they were already starting the search for the next Wiarton Willie.
Willie has always been really well cared for and brings so much joy to residents and visitors alike. And while we're sad to say goodbye, we will be looking for a new weather prognosticator to continue this beloved tradition for years to come.
Wiarton has had many albino groundhogs perform prediction ceremony duties over the past 70 years. Since 2017, 3 groundhogs have been brought on stage to predict the winter forecast. But before that, the same Willie did the job for 13 consecutive years. Groundhogs usually live 3 to 5 years in the wild, but do tend to live longer in captivity.
There have been over 50 cities and towns worldwide that have already transitioned to more humane alternative Groundhog Day celebrations. We hope that South Bruce Peninsula will consider setting an example and being the next town to make this positive progressive change.
In Wiarton, Scott Miller, CTV News.
When we come back, the Fanshawe Falcons in their chase for a first-ever national championship in women's basketball. The tee-up with Brent Lail is up next.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvlondon.ca, your home for news.
Tee Up with Brent Lale is brought to you by Event Connect.
Welcome back. It's the Tee Up with Brent Lale. And Brent, it's the last week of the OHL regular season. Just a few games left on the schedule for the London Knights.
Yeah, it's hard to believe just 3 games remain in Carlisle, and one of those will begin in just moments as the Knights are in Guelph to take on the Storm tonight. Every point is crucial for London right now as they trail the Sioux by just 1 point for home ice advantage in round 1.
We know how important home ice is. I mean, a couple long playoff runs in the past. We know home ice means a lot. So these next 3 games, we're just going to go out there, give it all we got, and see what happens, and obviously bounce back from that bad game against Windsor.
The Knights face Guelph tonight, then it's home to Windsor and at Flint on the weekend to wrap things up. London also announced a special venture this week. In September, they'll head to Victoria, BC to take on the Western Hockey League's Victoria Royals in a pair of exhibition games. They're calling it the Clash of the Kingdoms.
It's going to be exciting. You know, guys that haven't been there before get to see something on the West Coast, and for us just to, you know, have a little different taste of the WHL. Their fans kind of seeing kind of what we bring. It's a good crossover. It'll probably be a little bit more competitive because you know you're going to want to win for the OHL, WHL, which is a good thing. Like I said, some of our guys are going to get experience that they wouldn't otherwise get. So I think it's a positive.
And the Knights will play their remaining 3 regular season games plus 1 in the playoffs without overager Brody Cook. This hit right here has him suspended for 5 games after a knee-on-knee shot to Guelph's Noah Jenkin. The league called it both reckless and dangerous and gave him a 5-game suspension.
All right, Brent, playoff hockey is already underway in the Greater Ontario Hockey League midway through round 1.
Yeah, the Nationals are home to Stratford tonight at Western Fair District. It's game 4 of their series. The Warriors have a 2-1 lead. Meanwhile, St. Mary's, Elmira, and Chatham lead the other series. And last night in St. Thomas, Game 2, the top-seeded Maroons facing the Stars, and there's Knights prospect Elon Legalic. Great night for him. He had 2 goals, scoring twice for the 8 seed. But the Stars, despite giving them all they could handle, couldn't beat the defending champion Maroons, who would go on to win at 5-4 in overtime. Here's the goal of the night. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, right in. Power play, tic-tac-toe goal. Game 3 goes back in Chatham tomorrow night.
It's March break, so that means it's a week off for high school sports before the winter season wraps up.
Yeah, next week it's offset for both hockey and curling. The STA Flames girls team will be in the AAA championships in Windsor. Meanwhile, Stratford will represent Wausau in the other 3 divisions. And as for curling, Medway's boys are off to Thunder Bay for OFSA, while the girls will be represented by Stratford as well. To the diamond, there's Sarnia's Dylan O'Ray. He's excited to get back on the field this spring after missing the entire minor league baseball season last year with a wrist surgery. The Brewers' second base prospect is going to Double-A again, but he hopes to later move up.
Injuries always suck. Sometimes there's not much you can do about it, right? But kind of tried to use that as motivation and build off that, and ended up getting back out there for the fall league for a few games, so that was really fun. Nice to be back out, and then obviously using that to build into next year with some momentum is going to be, I'm excited for next year. It's going to be good.
And finally, Brent, the Fanshawe Falcons women's basketball team could claim the program's first ever national championship.
Yeah, and the Falcons will tip off in just about an hour and a half against the Douglas Royals from British Columbia. It's the quarterfinal of the national championships in Montreal. Hey, these ladies are at the dance after a Cinderella-type run to an Ontario title.
This is the first time that any of us have made it to a national experience, so yeah, we're definitely excited.
The Fanshawe Falcons are the Cinderella story of the national tournament. Ranked outside the top 15 in the country, they knocked off powerhouses Mohawk and Humber to make the 8-team dance.
It's kind of nice. I mean, being the underdog, no one expecting you to do it, so it feels that much better.
For coaches Bill and Teresa Carrier, it's their 8th time winning a provincial title.
We haven't even medaled at nationals, so that's kind of a
it's something that we've been waiting to do, and we feel good about this year.
And now with their daughter Caitlin alongside them on the bench, this program continues that family mentality.
I consider all the girls as sisters. We're kind of just this one big family, and I think that really helps us to win games because we really care for each other.
That's how we recruit. Out of high school, the kids they like to hear that our culture is very family-like. So yeah, I mean, it's going to continue that way for as long as we coach. I'm so fortunate I get to do this with my family.
To win their first medal, they'll have to start by beating the Douglas Royals from BC. They play a different offense than the Falcons are used to seeing this year.
We've been watching a lot of film, and that's what we just did upstairs for an hour. So I'm hoping that the girls clue into this and they know their roles and they know how to defend what they do. So I'm confident, actually.
I think it'll be a good matchup. They have some top post players like myself and some good guards, so I think it'll be a good challenge.
Frances never won a women's national championship before.
That would definitely be something I would love to end with the national gold, especially with these girls who would really mean something.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Back with Gary Archibald now, and I know we're getting close to the official end of winter, Gary, and we're getting close to the end of these wintry temperatures, I hope.
I think we are definitely going to see that. In fact, Carlisle, temperatures could be in the mid to upper teens across parts of southern Ontario as we head towards Friday, Saturday. Tomorrow's the last full day of winter, and many of you, I'm sure, happy to hear that. Of course, -3 today, the high, and several degrees below seasonals. The story across much of southern Ontario. 8 degrees in particular for the city of London. It was cold to start. We are now looking at some light flurries moving east of London towards Kitchener-Waterloo. -3 in London at the airport, -4 in Waterloo, Mount Forest -5. You factor in the winds that are westerly and or northwesterly this afternoon that are subsiding, decreasing in velocities. We will obviously not feel the impact of the wind chill as much, but we've felt as cold as about -13 today, and wind chill still a factor through this early stage of the evening. Feels like about -9 at the airport and the surrounds. You get a sense with the satellite radar imagery of the precipitation, the cloud cover. Notice the sweep. The jet stream takes a nosedive, sends its energy southward bound right through the Tennessee Valley. That's colder air, and to the south of the jet stream is relatively warmer air. To the north of it, colder air. You can see why snow has dominated our forecast over the last few days. Cold temperatures below seasonal, but a rebound is going to take shape in the next 48 hours. We'll get a bit of a clearing even. The next system brings rain and or snow with a wintry mix through the heart of the Midwest interior of southern Ontario for Friday. I think we will see some flurry activity, even some accumulations in the, well, predicted snowbelt regions of southern Ontario. Anywhere from Goderich, Grand Bend, northward bound to Tobermory, and then further east towards Mount Forest, could see some snow accumulating 2 to 4 centimeters. And then there's that rainfall graphic. Temperatures are going to fall to about 0, -1 through the overnight, so there's a chance that snow mixes, changes, right, into ice pellets, maybe even some freezing drizzle before dawn. Here's the projection from now through to about 8 o'clock. Cloudy flurries holding at about -2, -3. The winds subsiding, but it's still breezy through the overnight. Take a look at our 7-day forecast. It's a mess of seemingly everything. Cold temperatures, warm temperatures, some rain and or snow, an icy mix, and even some sunshine. Tomorrow, a high of 7 degrees. That's seasonal. But watch out for that early mix of icy precipitation. Then look at this. Temperatures up to 10 and then 12, maybe even 13 for Saturday. Still gray. Sunday, some showers possible and cooling off. Cooler still on Monday, sunny, fair, and warming up Tuesday, and then some more rain and or freezing rain a week from now, Wednesday. Midwest, a couple of centimeters possible, 5 degrees Celsius the high tomorrow afternoon. Rain showers warming up, and then still cloudy for Saturday, but fair weather, showers, then sunny and cooling off, and then back into a spring mix of snow and maybe an icy precipitation situation a week from now. It is still a very volatile forecast the next 7 days. Carlisle?
All right, Gary, thanks very much. Coming up, a cautionary tale about travel health insurance and the potential for a massive hospital bill.
Pure Country 93. London's home for the best country music. Listen for your chance to win $50,000 with Pure Country's Big 50K Payday.
From the world stage to Canada Life Place, Canada's champions are coming to London. Don't miss Stars on Ice skating into the Forest City on May 3rd, featuring Piper Gillies, Paul Poirier, and more. Enter online at ctvlondon.ca for your chance to win a pair of tickets.
The Bank of Canada held its key interest rate steady today. The bank's key lending rate remains at 2.25%, which is in line with economist expectations. Bank officials say they weighed the effects of the war in the Middle East as well as trade uncertainty and recent economic data. That included a report which showed the annual inflation rate in February was slightly lower than expected at 1.8%. A warning for anyone with family visiting from outside the country. One man says he's on the hook for roughly $100,000 in medical expenses after his visiting mother had a heart attack and hadn't purchased travel health insurance. Pat Foran reports.
Naveed Zafar's mother, Begum Bashiram, is in her 80s and lives in Atlanta, Georgia. In October, she was visiting with Zafar in Whitby and his sister in Waterloo. While in Waterloo, she had a stroke and ended up in the hospital.
I don't know if she's going to make it because she was unconscious.
Zafar rushed to the Waterloo Regional Health Network to see his mother and fill out documents for her care.
I didn't even bother looking at it because all I was thinking, if I can see my mom again or if she's going to make it.
Bashiran was in the hospital for 4 weeks in and out of intensive care. She has since recovered and is now back in Atlanta. While visiting Canada, she did not have travel health insurance, and the family has been handed a huge bill.
$110,000.
The total bill came to just over $111,000. The hospital did offer a discount of 10% on certain charges. Zafar owed about $100,000, and so far he has paid $55,000, but he's still expected to come up with the rest.
Being as a responsible citizen, I definitely want to pay to hospital.
When we reached out to the Waterloo Regional Health Network, a spokesperson said, "We sincerely empathize with the financial strain unexpected medical emergencies can cause, especially when navigating the complexities of international health care."
All people visiting Canada that are not Canadian residents need to purchase Visitor to Canada insurance.
Martin Firestone with Travel Secure says many different companies offer Visitor to Canada insurance, and he says the same way Canadians need insurance traveling outside our borders, visitors must have it to make sure they're covered if they get sick or injured while here.
Sadly, it appears they didn't buy it, and now they're facing this huge bill.
Zafar says he is thankful the hospital looked after his mother and says he'll have to find a way to pay the rest of the bill.
I had to pay. There's no way out.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Markets on both sides of the border were down today, impacted by the Iran war and crude oil prices rising. In Toronto, the TSX dropped 616 points. In New York, the Dow fell 768. The Nasdaq lost 327. The Canadian dollar fell but lost just 0.04 of a cent. On commodity markets, gold is down $112 an ounce. Oil slipped 7 cents a barrel. Later on CTV News, a chance to play for all kids. The March Break Hockey Camp opening up opportunities to hit the ice. Welcome back. A human rights review in the Guelph area has found incidents of anti-black racism in classrooms. And since those findings were made public, parents of black students say school board officials aren't doing enough to address their concerns or take disciplinary action. Alexandra Hollick reports.
Nia James and Marsha Myrie say they weren't surprised when a human rights review revealed there was anti-black racism within the Upper Grand District School Board.
It's not surprising because we hear it every day when we ask our children, how has your day been at school?
The pair is part of the UGDSB Black Parent Council, an independent grassroots group advocating for black students and their families. And they're calling on the board to address concerns over their kids' safety. The school board commissioned the third-party human rights review last April. Thousands of survey responses and hundreds of interviews highlighting some of the harm students and staff experience firsthand. Testimonies from students and survey respondents say the N-word is used frequently with little to no repercussions. The environment for black students in some schools can be described as a poisoned environment, the report states.
We need urgent action to be able to assist our children who, as the report clearly shows, are suffering within an environment that is supposed to be a safe and enriching environment.
The report lists 14 recommendations, which include developing protocol to report hate incidents, increasing community engagement, and clarifying the role of the Human Rights, Equity, and Accessibility Office.
I think it just left me with more questions regarding who is going to implement these recommendations.
And the council has recommendations of their own.
Transparency, timelines, to understand how long are we waiting for these things to take place.
I would like to see a stronger plan around systemic racism and how we address that, not just as parents, not just as students, but as, a school board.
In a statement to CTV News, the UGDSB says it takes concerns about racism and discrimination seriously. The board acknowledges the existence and impact of systemic anti-black racism within publicly funded education and is committed to addressing it through sustained system-wide action, a spokesperson says. We remain committed to engaging with students, families, and community partners in a respectful and constructive way, and to ensure that all students feel safe, valued, and supported in their learning environments.
Equity-seeking communities.
James and Myrie say they hope the board puts action behind its words.
It is some of the most basic things that our children need to excel, to belong, to be able to participate in class, to be able to participate in extracurricular activities.
The board says it's working on implementing the 14 recommendations in the report and will provide updates to the public as they come. Alexandra Hollick, CTV News, Guelph.
Federal government officials are taking their battle over the Emergencies Act to the Supreme Court. They're appealing a federal court ruling which found their use of the Emergencies Act was not justified when thousands of demonstrators occupied downtown Ottawa during the so-called Freedom Convoy protest in the winter of 2022. A spokesperson for the Justice Minister says the appeal will help clarify when emergency powers can be used. An atmospheric river event is pouring rain on British Columbia with more than 200 millimeters of rain dropped in some coastal areas since Sunday. Environment Canada experts say there's been more than 220 millimeters of rain recorded at one highway station on Vancouver Island. Other areas hit hard by the rain include Tofino as well as Burnaby Mountain on the mainland. Rainfall warnings are in place on Vancouver Island, Metro Vancouver, and the Fraser Valley, with heavy rain expected to continue until Friday.
Let's look at our CTV News weather snapshot. Thanks to John Morse for this beautiful image. Expect cloudy and chilly conditions tonight. City of London could see some flurries, maybe pre-dawn freezing drizzle, a low of -2 that feels like -9. It's a windy Thursday, cloudy for the most part, and showers a possibility. A high of 6, maybe 7 degrees Celsius, and maybe even some peaks of sunshine as we head towards dusk.
An American man says he's trying to figure out how his wife and 7-year-old Canadian stepdaughter ended up in a U.S. Customs and Immigration Enforcement detention center. He says they were pulled from their car on Saturday and haven't been seen since. Abigail Beeman reports.
It's no place for a 7-year-old to be.
No place to be is the Texas detention center known as Ursula, since renovated, but once known for holding children in cages. Edward Warner says his Canadian wife, Tanya Warner, and her daughter have been there since Saturday. Ayla Lucas has autism and is just 7 years old.
It's overcrowded, very loud, and they're just very stressed out right now.
The family lives less than 4 hours from the Mexican border. Edward says on Saturday they were coming home from a baby shower further south in Texas and, as they've done before, drove through a border checkpoint and showed ID when something went wrong.
They took her in saying that they need to fingerprint her to get more information, and she never came back out.
Warner provided CTV News this Social Security document that shows Tanya's citizenship status as a lawful alien with the right to work. Tanya and Ayla are in the process of immigrating from BC. They've lived in Texas about 5 years.
The priority is the trauma experienced by the 7-year-old in detention.
This immigration lawyer says PTSD after time in detention is not uncommon, nor is it uncommon for entire families to be detained for days or even months until their cases are sorted.
If you're Canadian in status with the right paperwork, you're still in jeopardy.
Meanwhile, Edward is doing everything he can, using a GoFundMe page to help hire a lawyer and still trying to understand what happened. All he knows is officers suggested there was a problem with a document number.
It's horrifying. I mean, it's not somewhere you want your family to be at, and it's not something anybody should have to really go through.
CTV News reached out to ICE and the Department of Homeland Security to ask about this case and why a 7-year-old is still in detention. The government acknowledged our request and asked some follow-up information about the pair, but didn't answer our questions by deadline. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
The CFL's Toronto Argonauts are getting ready for an extended stay in Guelph. FIFA will soon take over their home stadium in Toronto ahead of the World Cup. With more on their temporary accommodations, here's Colton Weens.
For the past 5 years, the Toronto Argonauts have spent training camp at the University of Guelph. The team is coming back again, but this year they're sticking around for a little longer.
This season, they are displaced from BMO Field due to the FIFA World Cup, so they will be here for a couple extra months. Our operations teams work very, very well together, so they are currently working out all of those details.
With the FIFA World Cup taking over BMO Field from June 11th to July 19th, the boatmen will use Guelph as their site for training and practice.
Our university conference services and hospitality services are very involved with the Toronto Argos being on our campus, so they help with food, with accommodation, and have a really great full service experience for them here.
Like other recent years, the Argos will allow the public to come see some of their training camp. They'll also host a preseason game on May 29th at Alumni Stadium against Hamilton.
There's sort of a lift of tourism that comes to the town as well because people want to see them. You know, it's kind of neat to see some professional football players walking around town, enjoying some of the amenities that we have, going to the same restaurants.
As for scheduling, the Argos will spend their first half of the season playing their games on the road and are expected to be back at BMO Field before the U Sports season gets underway. The university says there shouldn't be any conflicts with their team, and the Griffins football coaches will likely do some professional development with Toronto staff.
Using our facilities like the field, the strength and conditioning center, as well as our facilities inside. They love it here. It's always exciting to have them here in the city.
And so another season of the Argos coming to Guelph for preseason, and this time going to stay a little bit longer. And tickets for that preseason game on May 29th are already on sale and can be purchased online. Colton Weens, CTV News, Guelph.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest on the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
Welcome back. Finally tonight, a teenage hockey player has launched his own March break camp, trying to introduce more kids to the game that otherwise wouldn't get a chance to play. With more on the program's impact, here's Sean Leathong.
A camp that cuts through by giving kids a chance to play a game that might have been out of reach.
It's my first time playing hockey.
Have you guys ever skated before this week?
No.
It's just happy. I'm happy every time I play.
It's called Open Ice Initiative, a March break hockey camp dedicated to giving kids who may not be able to afford the game a chance to play.
The only barrier to hockey should be the boards, not price.
15-year-old Andrew Adair created Open Ice because, as a U16 AA player, he could see how expensive hockey can be.
Equipment costs can reach thousands of dollars, but actually joining in a consistent league can actually be a financial burden to a lot of families.
Adair partnered with Hockey Fundamentals Camp for Ice at Ted Reeve Arena and found a sponsor, the Hockey Stick Man, who provided free equipment to each of the camp's 16 players, attracting coaching help from former NHLer Cameron Gounce.
I think everyone likes to see what they're capable of. So playing hockey, especially for some of these kids getting on the ice for the first time, I want them to know that they're more capable than they realize and make sure they have fun while doing it.
Hockey registration in Canada fell by half during the pandemic, and while numbers are once again rising, they're still below the all-time highs of the mid-2010s.
It's a pretty fun game.
For players like 11-year-old Kira Ihabanu, enjoying the game is as simple as scoring her first goal.
You're proud. You're proud that you made it.
It's a lot of work, but it's very exciting and very interesting.
Alberto and Alejandro are brothers trying the game this week. Their father says it wouldn't have happened if not for this camp.
The fact that the kids have an opportunity to come and try the sports at no cost, I think it's amazing.
Another sponsorship from Pizza even has lunches covered so kids have enough fuel to play while building some friendships. This is the second camp Open Ice has run. The first was over Christmas. They plan to run another in the summer.
I just really like it.
As for the players, they're starting to have plans of their own.
What are your dreams? What do you want to do with hockey?
Be in the Olympics. Like a girls' hockey team. I want to play in the NHL. Just having some fun.
And they're meeting that goal every day this March break. Sean Leathong, CTV News.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.